happening, everybody? Sean, what's going on? I seen your post in the Facebook page. We're going to start educating on that page. We just let it sit there for years and then open it up to the public because I didn't have the moderators and all that in place. So if anybody wants to be a moderator on there, just let me know. I'll make you a moderator. And we'll clean that page up and we will get going with that. Hold on a minute. Hello. Hold on. All right. We have Dean on the phone. Why didn't you come?
What's up?
Why don't you click on the link and just come live?
I'm still driving.
Oh, what are you working?
Yeah, man. I'm burning the midnight oil, brother.
Okay.
6 o'clock is midnight.
So the Dean is actually trucking. Can you believe it?
What do you mean? Man, I've been working like anyway.
Yeah, he goes out west, spends 3 weeks California and Nevada, enjoying the sun, playing golf, and he thinks he's working.
I did go out there for about 10 days, but
yeah. Yeah, so he calls that work, okay? He calls it work, folks. We're not going to let him fool us.
Oh, Lord.
Ooh, my favorite guy's up here, Alaska Trucker. What's up, Jerry? He could have came over. He was in the States. He could have came over and went snowmobiling, but he did not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You got to get it together, man. Go snowmobiling.
Ali, Mario, what's going on? CDN Freight Broker. Anybody wants to see a good channel? Go to Canadian Freight Broker's channel. It's got a good channel. Right, Dean?
So I haven't checked it out yet, but I did get a notification that he's there, but I got to check it out,
What's up, Tire Killer? So we have more trailers, Dean. We got more trailers today. So if any contractor out there wants to move and come over here, we make it really simple. You can come on over. What's up, Cool Trucking? It says, hey, folks. And then I also got to get my trading videos up. I've been slacking on that, Dean. Of course, I've been trading every day.
That's right.
But I just haven't.
Well, we've had some winners and some losers, right?
Right. Well, yeah, of course. Everybody does.
That's right.
Today I had some good winners, though. I should turn that channel on, just leave it on and show on the screen and not talk. Just let it sit there and run all day, right?
You could do that.
That's what I might do with that. And then people could see when I get in and out of trades and things like that. And maybe comment why I'm doing the trade. Right?
Yeah, you could. And they can just scroll through it later when they stop or something. See what you
Right.
did, right? Because you won't be there all day. But yeah.
What's up, Don? Oh, just haven't had it on. Been trading, just haven't had it on. Like today, I specialized in 2 stocks. And I traded stocks and options in both of them. Right, Dean? That's what I did.
That's right. Well, we just won't tell them the times where you forget what you did, and then
Oh, yeah.
Houston, we have a problem moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so what Dean's talking about, and it's a good problem most of the time, is he'll call me up, or one of the contractors will call me up. I'll get busy, and let's say I bought a stock, and I forgot about it. And 2 or 3 hours later, I said, "Oh wow, I'm up. Whatever, time to sell." forgot I even had it, right, Dean?
That's right. And then you freak out. And then it's usually a winner, though. You usually make some money.
Yeah, yeah. Like, or I'll buy more position and option than what I wanted to. For instance, the dean had called me up, and I was going to the grocery store. And I think he might remember this. I was only going to buy one or two contracts of the SPY. And I put it in there, and by default, it has 10 contracts. And I changed it, but I forgot to change it. I said buy. I think it was a put at the time. I bought it, and I was getting ready to go in the store, and Dean called me, and I told him, hey, I bought 10 contracts of this. Or I bought one contract, and I looked, I said, oh, no, that was 10. And I was down, I don't know, $50, $60. And then within how many minutes, Dean? Just a couple?
2-3 minutes.
Just 2 or 3 minutes. Next thing you know, I'm up 80. Because it went down like it was supposed to. And I sold out of it, closed it out. And Dean calls me lucky.
Look, I had a nice run there for about a month and a half, and then, man, the last couple months, it's been kind of brutal for the Dean.
Except for the one stock I told everybody on the channel a long time ago, and there's still some folks that still hold that stock today, like you do. What is it, Dean? NAT, Nordic Tank Lines. It got down as low as $2 a few months ago, but it's up to $4.50. What did it close today? $4.50 something? $4.40 something?
Well, it was at $4.40 when we talked earlier. It was like $4.42 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the folks that would have bought it a few months ago, we were talking about it for a couple dollars. They've done doubled their money by now.
Oh yeah, I mean I've gotten a dividend a few times. I mean it's been good. It's been a good thing.
Right. Plus they pay a dividend. Yep. It's awesome.
Yep. Just hang on to that sucker.
Oh, Don still has his. Don bought some too. What's up, James G?
That's awesome.
Yeah, Don, I'll put him on the broadcast. He says,
hey, now's a good time to buy some stuff because things are pretty cheap.
Right. The market is going down, right? I mean, it's fluctuating. It's a good put or sell short market at this time. But you can take some chances on some small stuff if you want. The biggest thing to take chances on is if you look at volume. You find those pre-market, high volume, low cost stocks that have doubled or tripled. Get in there for just a few seconds. Make yourself $50, $100, $200, whatever, and get out. And don't go back and try to do that several times in a day, because it's not going to work. Dean knows. It's not going to work.
I do. I gotta go through this chicken house. I'm gonna put my earpiece down. I'll be right back.
All right, later. Peace. We can hear the buzzer. He got the red light to go inside the weigh station. And those Kenworths have a loud blinker. What up, Steve and Law Logistics? What's going on? So, if you need contractors out there, you don't need a trailer. We have some. We just got some more in. So, if you'd like to join Light Trucking, go to our website, lighttrucking.com. Fill out an application, and you can start pretty quick. It doesn't take very long to get you all the paperwork done and ready to go. Dan says, what do you think of bidding a dedicated run? I get offers for that all the time. Every day in email. There's brokers email me every day about dedicated freight. The only problem with dedicated freight for me is this is a 100% owner-operator company. And dedicated freight doesn't go very well for that because they're owner-operators. They might not want to do it for what you bid the lane for. That's the problem. Canadian Freight Broker. See, this is a good question. And I've answered this question a lot because what a lot of people do in this industry is they overcorporate themselves, if you want, or classify themselves when they become an owner-operator. And that is, do you stay sole proprietor? Do you do LLC? Do you do S Corp, C Corp? All these things. And a lot of folks they shoot too high up on the ladder for a status.
Overclassified.
They overclassify themselves. And what CDN says is, if a carrier is LLC or corporation, and the owner, this is key, and the owner is driving one truck and gets in a at-fault crash, or, let's say it's a really bad wreck or a fatality, can the owner get sued personally as he was a driver versus the company driver gets a backlash? Yes. Like I always said, if you own the company and you're driving the truck, it does you no good. You're not getting protected because you're a corporation. Because you are driving the truck. And most times in lawsuits, they will sue the driver and the company. And a lot of times they won't sue the driver because, they'll check the driver out and see what they own. If they don't own anything, they know they're not going to get nothing. They go strictly for the company. But if you're both, you're going to get double sued. So it does you absolutely no good if you're a single owner operator to do a C Corp or an S Corp. It just doesn't. I stayed sole proprietor all the way up until I started this company here putting on contractors. Because that way it limits the risk for me personally. Right, Dean?
That's right. We've talked about this several times.
Do you ever trade GRT USD crypto? I have okay luck with it. Stephen, no. I'll trade some crypto. Forex, in the Forex world, I trade USD C80. I trade the Canadian USD. That's what I trade. Once in a while, I'll dabble in the yen against the dollar. But most of the time, it's Canadian and dollar because that's what I've always traded, so that's what I'm used to. So like today, when I was looking at the chart and I seen it, and it was up 0.0238, and it fell down a little bit, and I said, okay, it's going to have another uprise. So when it started bouncing with a resistance line I was looking at, and went above it, and came back and touched it and started going above it again, it had some momentum. So I bought 10,000 lots, right? I bought 10,000. So then what I did is wait. I waited until it clicked up a few more, then I bought another 10,000. And it clicked up, I bought another 10,000. Clicked up, I bought another 10,000. So I kept buying 10,000 until I got up to about 100,000 in there. And then as it went up to a certain level, I started pulling 10,000 out, 10,000 out, 10,000 out, and I stepped myself back out. So I don't put all the money in or all the shares I want right away. Does that make sense? I will step it up, because if it goes up and you read it wrong, then you don't have all your money in there. And it goes down, you minimize your risk. Does that make sense, Dean?
It does, yes.
Yeah, so as I get out of the position, I will step myself out of the position, just like I got in it. If I put 25% in right to the bat, and then 50%, and then another 25% higher up, I'll take it out the same way as it comes down. Or when it gets to a point when I want to start pulling money back out, taking some profit. So it just minimizes the risk. 7, get 20 more. Evening, Clyde. What's going on? I ain't seen Clyde in a long time. My name is nobody. What's happening? Not much going on YouTube's anymore, is there? What's up, Bull of the Woods? What's going on? Flatbed Trucker? Evening, Stuart. I struggle to trade like that because I am driving. It's hard to watch. I'm trying to learn swing trading. Right, so swing trading, if you read, you got to read charts, right? So you study the charts. Get yourself 2 or 3 stocks that you want to trade. And study those. Study those charts. And then look for your in on that swing trade. And swing trade, if people don't know, it's over several days. So you're doing a trade over several days, up to a week or so, and you're looking for certain parameters to do the swing. Now Dean, he day trades, swing trades, he does it all. He just fires at it.
It's like buckshot, man. It just goes everywhere.
he's using double out buck. Boom! It's just all over the place.
It's a mess.
Big old splatter field. Dean is a pro.
No.
No, Dean's learning.
Yeah, Dean's learning.
Yeah.
I've had some good wins, and I've had some some really bad losses also.
Yeah, I got some. Usually I don't stay in things, but I've stayed in some crypto, and I have some. They're not losses until you sell them, right? So I'm down on a lot of crypto, but I didn't sell it. I'm just holding on to it. Whether it goes anywhere, who knows? Might get my money back, might make some. Not for sure. Stocks, that's another thing. If you get caught up in, let's say, the meme stocks, like Carvana, right? They're being one of them, right, Dean? Carvana, Bed Bath & Beyond, AMC, those folks. You can get caught at the top.
It's a wrap.
I got caught at the top. But if you get caught at the top, make sure you got enough money that you can keep trading. So I got caught at the top on AMC, and it fell. It was like, I think I bought it at $6 and something. And then within a few days,
7, yeah.
You remember that, Dean?
Yeah.
Then
Almost 7.
Yeah, it was at 7. And a few days later, it was down to like $4.
Yeah.
And I'm caught at 7 or close to it. But I didn't sell. And it took how many months? 2 or 3 months?
Oh, yeah, at least, yeah.
And I got a profit because it went back above 7. And I got out. But in the meantime, I traded it all the way down and all the way back up with options and day trades where... What do you think? What do you say the average time is that I spend on a trade?
Oh, man, I wish these guys could see this nonsense go on. It is something else. He'll sit there I mean, he's in, he's out. And, you know, in for a profit or he gets out altogether. But it's a matter of seconds. And you can either do really well or you know, go down and get out, you know, minimize your losses or your risk. But yeah, it's pretty, I mean, you can't leave. You got to be sitting there. And so, and that's the struggle I've had. You and I've talked is, you know, when you're working, you're driving, it's tough. I mean, there's, you know, man, you go broke, you know.
Well, for instance, I trade SPY all the time, and it was 300
fast. I mean, you're in and out in 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was $397 a share, and it was up to like 410 just a few days ago. Then it runs in conjunction with Tesla, right? It's S&P 500. So I'm usually in and out of that stock, like Dean said, in seconds. I don't wait. Now, same thing with the options. I'm usually in and out in seconds. Sometimes I'll buy the option and forget. Like, what was it, a few days ago, Dean? I bought the option and forgot, and before the close of the day, I look at it, and I was up $500. I said, Dean.
This guy, I told him, I don't know, a week or two ago, I said, you know, I think maybe it was when I was out there in Vegas and Cali just hanging out. But, you know, I said, man, you're lucky today. You need to go buy a lottery ticket. He's just striking gold everything he did.
I did that one day. Before I went snowmobiling. I bought 3 lottery tickets out of this machine.
Oh well, yeah, that too. Yeah, unbelievable.
Scratched the first one; it was $75. Scratched the second one; it was $30.
And then your wife had hit one.
Yeah, and I gave the other one to the boss, and she hit on that one. But Dan, 0 fees when you buy and sell the stock. Depends on what broker you're with, also on what you pay. Now, with options, depends on, you know, how many options you buy and things like that. How many contracts depends on the price. Elon Musk running the world's most elaborate Ponzi scheme. And I do 3 different brokers. I have E-Trade, I have Ameritrade, and I have Robinhood that I use mainly for crypto. That's mainly what I trade in that. Once in a while, I'll throw an option out there or something. I got 3 options, long options running on it. And like I was telling Dean, the MULN, Mullen, right? It's automotive.
Yeah.
I bought a 50-cent strike price a year from now. Because if that technology goes, that company goes, it'll definitely hit. It got close to 50 cents, last week?
Yeah, but it's down.
Yeah, it lost half its value. You know.
Oh, yeah. We're taking a bath.
But I could have got out of that. I was like $60 up on that option. But I was waiting for...
I just say, the heck with it. I just, out of all of them, I just leave it. You know, hopefully, I mean, it is what it is. But I just let it ride. Let it ride.
Yeah, I bought 1,000 shares in options, right, for $50. 10 contracts for $50. So I'll let it sit there for a year because I'm hoping that stock will go to $2, $3, or $4 like all the other.
Be nice.
Right, in that field that they're in.
Hey, look, I hope it goes up.
Right, so that's why the SPY is easy to scalp it. And that's what I'm doing. I scalp them. Scalp it for 50 cents, 20 cents, whatever you want to set your gain at. So if you buy 100 shares of it, it's $400. And you want to make 20 bucks, it's only got to go up 20 cents. And it does that fast. Right, Dean?
Oh, man. Wow, you made, what, $1.68 today, or is that
Right.
yesterday? Yesterday or today? In and out, $1.68. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
No, in and out. Yeah, and I have that goal to minimum of 100, at least $100 a day, Monday through Friday, minimum. And that's what I shoot for. Might take a couple of trades, might take one.
Right. But even that $1.60, I mean, and now you're down to what, $98, right? 98 change, and it all adds up.
Yeah, like I bought a stock this morning at right around 8 o'clock, just after 8 o'clock in the pre-market, because it was at $1. It was double the value. That I did a pre-market scan, seen it way up there. The volume was high. It's okay. It's a pharmaceutical. This could run to 2 or 3 or 4, like a lot of them have this year. So when it got down to 80 cents, I bought a bunch of it. And then within 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, it was back to $1. I got out. I had my money for the whole day within 3 minutes. And then some. But then I waited till the market opened and did some other stuff. Right, In-N-Out Burger. Right, In-N-Out.
Right.
But
hey,
you know,
I'm gonna have to jump off here in a minute, but I'm almost home. But hey, Jeff, I'm just sharing some with the group real quick, if you don't mind, and I'll be off 2 minutes. When it comes to trucking, deadhead is your friend. I don't care what anybody says. Deadhead's your friend, and time is still the most critical thing. And if you're going into a market, let's say you're going into Denver or Cheyenne, Wyoming. Look, you can deadhead out of there to somewhere else and make the same money that you would make hauling out of maybe that location. You'd have to look at that time, but it doesn't matter what the rates are. Look, deadhead can be your friend, and you can still make good money right now. So, and I know there's a lot of people out there saying, you know, the sky's falling, but Jeff, we talk all the time. We know that's not true, and you just have to keep grinding. And look, there's still a lot of good loads out there, and you know, look at times like this, COVID. We went through that. It'll just make you better. But at the end of the day, time is our most critical factor in everything. So if the load doesn't pay you enough, maybe you take it. Maybe it's a short run, because time is the most important thing. So if it picks today and it's crap, just get it off your truck tomorrow and find another load. But trucking's still good. But I just wanted to get that out, Jeff, before I'm almost home. So.
Oh, so you're gonna go live, right?
I'm gonna go live.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta drop my trailer, and I gotta get home after that. But I gotta make a couple stops along the way. But,
so what the dean is saying. Here's an example. Let me get on the whiteboard here.
there we go.
We're going to show you something. All right, so the dean is saying is you'll have a lot of guys that'll say, no, you know, I'm not deadheading. I'll sit right here. Because they think deadhead loses money, which it doesn't. And here's the example.
It'll make it.
Let's say you're down in one of those areas that doesn't have very good freight. So they got a 1,000-mile load posted for $1.25 for $1,250. And people say, how can people do that? But there'd be a lot of people that will do that.
Yep.
Where
A lot.
let's say you deadhead 500 miles out. Let's say you're in Florida. You deadhead 500 miles out and you get up into Tennessee, or maybe you go all the way to Kentucky. But there's a 500-mile run that goes, let's say, the same place or close by where this original run did, and it's paying $3 a mile, and you get $1,500. You made more money, and half the miles is empty, so you get better fuel mileage.
That's right.
So it's a win-win.
It is.
All the way.
If you look at so let's say it's a weekend and you have that scenario, and you know it's tough to find loads on the weekend. Well, instead of sitting at whatever truck stop, if you just I don't know, just open up your the horizons, I guess, for lack of a better word here, and just do some exploring when you're looking for loads. Look at different markets instead of sitting there. Even if it's a Sunday afternoon and you're empty, how far can you drive by tomorrow by 10 a.m.? Because you're not going to get that load in that market anyway until probably 10 or 12 p.m. anyway, right? 10 a.m., 12 p.m., whatever, on Monday if it is a Sunday when you're empty. So why not just say, you know what, I'm not sitting here, I'll go somewhere else. Because when you do pick up that load, let's say you deliver it Wednesday, you can still deliver Wednesday by going to that better market and make more money in the same amount of time.
Right.
Or you'll make more money. And even if you make the same, you're in a better market. I mean, of course you want to do better, but there's a chance that if you're in Denver or something, look, that you probably won't deliver that until Thursday morning. But if you're, let's say, in Omaha Monday morning because you deadhead out of Cheyenne to go there, or out of Denver, let's just say you deadheaded into Omaha or something, right? You're still going to make the same money. I bring this up because I did it myself, and I ran it by you. And so I thought, I just wish more people would look at it, because you can make money by deadhead. Yes, you have to be smart. You got to think it through, but deadhead can be a friend for sure.
Right.
And I've done it several times.
Well,
we talked about out of Phoenix or wherever. I mean, there's a lot of examples you can give, but I mean, it can work for you.
I had a contractor that went down to Florida a lot. Right? So he got down to Florida, around the Jacksonville area, and it was one of these scenarios was a load like this, like 1,000 miles or so back up to Indiana for $12.50, somewhere in there. I found him a load up in Kentucky, deadheaded like 600 miles, whatever it was, up to Kentucky. Had a 400-mile run, and it paid $1,600. And they would have never have seen this. But see, I specialize in mathematics when it comes to trucking. It's all about math.
Yep.
And I look at, okay, what if I go to a hotter market? What if I deadhead all the way up, 600 miles? And people would say that's crazy. But look, made more money than a guy doing this. Way more money.
Well, here's the other thing, too. And I know this is going to stir the pot here, but that's all right. But a lot of guys talk about rate per mile. And I know I've talked a lot about time since I've been coming on your channel and when I work for you. But at the end of the day, rate per mile is going to get you in a lot of trouble, especially now. You're not going to get that rate per mile. Let's just say you need $2.15, $2.20 a mile. If you need that, and that's what you're looking for, you're going to be sitting there a long time. But instead of doing that, if people say, well, I need, $1,000 a day or $900 a day, even if the rate per mile is $1.56, doesn't that serve the same purpose? Isn't that doing the same thing for you and your family? It's still providing you. Yeah, it might be $1.56 and it might be more miles. But in a market like this, you're going to have to maybe do more miles to make that same income. But if it's this, you're not going to do it maybe running short sometimes, right? And trucking is really no different than the stock market or anything else in life. There's ups, there's downs. But I guarantee you, there's some sunshine every day. You just got to find it. I guarantee you, somewhere on that load board, there is some money, right? And to your point, though, Jeff, if you deadhead, let's say you need your business plan is based on 3 loads a week. Well, if you sit in that dead market, that's going to go into the next week. So now you're hamstringing yourself because you may not get that third load. If you need 3, now you're going to be down to 2. Now that goes into the next week. So now you've really hurt yourself 2 weeks in a row by being stubborn and not willing to look out, or just think outside the box, I guess, right? So, like Warren Buffett says, never think outside the box. There should never be a box. But anyway, so I agree with you, and I just hope others do as well, because I've done it myself in this bad market. I've deadheaded 600-700 miles, and in the same time, I've made more money.
Well,
so
here you go, Dean. I put CPM with a buster symbol, right? I should have put it in red. Because what happens is people, they get themselves stuck on cost per mile, the CPM, right? Rate per mile, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll make it RPM, rate per mile. Well, it's the same thing as cost per mile, because say, well, I need 225 mile, right? So that's
Okay.
Right. So they sit, or they'll say, I'm not hauling cheap freight. And they sit there for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 6 days, 10 days. And they wonder why they're going broke.
Right.
They wonder why their credit cards are maxed out. They wonder why they're not making any money. Because they are not business owners. Right? They let pride and their mental control them, right? What they think they need, what they think they deserve. Right. And when you let that control you, you're not going to make it very well in this business.
No, so that's a good segue. So take what Jeff said and think about it. There's a lot of people out there that say, look, you can run your business or your business can run you. But if you think outside the box and say, okay, I'm going to try and make deadhead my friend. And again, just be smart about it. Run the numbers, run the fuel. But if you're going to sit today anyway, because there's no loads, maybe it's a weekend, you can still make it productive and set yourself up for tomorrow, right? Because either way, you're losing today. You're going to sit at the truck stop or you're going to deadhead. And I understand there's fuel involved, and that's a cost. And you have to run the numbers to see if said market that you want to go to is going to, if the numbers are going to work. But generally, if you look at a market like Denver or Cheyenne, I left Cheyenne, I went all the way to Omaha. Now it was a Sunday, and I was there Monday morning. It worked out, right? I got a load. And in the same time frame, made the same money. And you could do the same thing in Phoenix. Now it's a little tougher, and it's a lot farther. But we all know it's a tough market to get out of. But I guarantee if you run the numbers and you went to Oklahoma or what, you're just gonna be better. And you're minimizing the lost time into the next week. Because when you sit and you go into the week, and now you don't get something, or you get something cheap on Monday, but like again, now you're going to be at 2 loads probably for the week, maybe 1 if you're all the way out west. Now that bleeds into the next week. So I look at it like it's almost a waste, a week and a half, 2 weeks. So
right, but if you do cost per day, and I came up with this years ago and introduced it on this channel. If you operate by cost per day, and you don't even look at what the per mile rate is, right? If it's just $3, $4, $2, $1.50, that does not matter in cost per day. So if you go by just your cost per day and you look at all the loads around you, and even if you find the cheapest load on there and it meets your cost per day, you can run it. And it changes your mental aspect. Because if you're stuck on $3 or $4 or $5, that's what this freight has to pay, you are not going to do well in this business. You're just not. And there's going to be a lot of people doing videos saying, oh, you don't know what he's talking about. Oh, that's stupid. Well, 30 years later, I'm still here, folks. There's a big difference.
Look, and sometimes, and again, I'll look at things. I look at I never look at the rate per mile. I look at when it picks, when it delivers, what's the rate, what's the commodity, all those good things. But
Right, and you take your stuff out, right? He didn't say I can make a profit.
Right, and sometimes, I mean, look, I'll take something that is, I guess for lack of a better word, cheap, as long as I can get it off either today or tomorrow, right? But it's got to be out because, again, it's all about the time. But half of something is better than all or nothing.
That's right.
And something's always better than nothing. So even if you could, that's the problem with rate per mile. Rate per mile is going to be all based on miles generally. But isn't the idea to run less miles if you own your truck and make more money?
Right, and one of the big companies out there, and Ponzi Zombie Killer knows what I'm talking about. They teach rate per mile, right? CPM. They teach cost per mile. That's their little business class. And you wonder why they're all sitting down there at their homeless shelters, terminals, right? And you'll see the same guy sitting there 2, 3, or 4 days because he's like, well, this freight's too cheap. I can't haul it. I got to have, $2.50 a mile or $2 a mile. Well, every day you sit, it's time. You can't get that time back. And if the market's not very good, you're sure not going to find a load to make up for those 2, 3, or 5 days that you sat.
Well, right. And so when you talk about, revenue per day or look versus rate per mile. So I mentioned on your channel before too. So a lot of people look at a quarter is a quarter, right? We all know the first quarter starts in January, ends in March, right? We all understand that. But when times are tough, and I know most people understand, I'm a sales guy, this and that. But look, when times are tough, you got to look at small wins. They could actually be big wins, but you have to also look at your numbers. And instead of looking at the month as in a calendar month, day 1 through 30 or 1 through 28, whatever it is, I said before, just pick 30 days. Pick any 30-day time frame you want, because as long as you're out there working, you will win more than you lose. It's almost impossible if you put the time in to not come out on top. But maybe you don't. If you look at days 1 through 30 in a normal calendar month, maybe something happens. Maybe you had a breakdown, maybe a tire issue, whatever the case is. But if you say, okay, I'm not going to look at days 1 through 30, I'm going to look at January 10th to February 10th. But that 30 days may give you a different picture on an outlook of what your business is really doing. And don't just do it. I mean, do it many different ways. But when you're struggling, you have to find some motivation and another way to look at your numbers so you don't feel like I'm going out of business or the end is near. Because I guarantee you, if you're willing to do the drill and you're willing to put the time in, you'll succeed. And I know a lot of people say, well, times are really hard right now. There's no way you can do it. But when you look to the right or left, there's still a lot of people making a lot of money right now.
Right. Why? Because they know how to run their business.
Right.
And here's an example. Let's say you need $300 a day. Right?
Yep.
And let's say it's 20 days. It could be 30. We'll just say 20. That means this guy needs $6,000 a month to pay for everything. House, truck stuff, everything. Now he takes a load out of the house. Right? You got day 1. He goes and he gets $400 that day. And then day 2, let's say he gets $500. And then day 3, there's all cheap loads in his area. Then he says, well, I can deadhead and get this other load. But let's just say the guy says, I'll take the cheap load. And he makes $200 that day. Where the guy that does cost per mile or rate per mile, he's going to sit that day. And let's say day 4, same scenario. He makes another $200. The other guy's still sitting there now for 2 days because he can't find nothing. Now this guy, let's say, is in a better area. And in day 5 that week, he does $400. So he needs $1,500 for that week. 3 times 5 is $1,500. That's what he needs. He needs $1,500. So what's he got? 9, 11, 13, $1,700. He beat it by 200. He's up plus $200. And he didn't make his day. He didn't make his time 2 days, but he made it over on the rest. So that's why cost per day works, because you can go below your cost per day on a lot of those days and still make what you need. And some of these loads could have been $1, $1.50, $1.75 a mile. Some could be $3 or $4. It could be a mixture of all kinds of them. But all you care about is the profit for the cost per day. There it is, $300. You take the load, take all the stuff out of it, and see what's left. And if it's $300, you know you're good. If it's just below it, you could take it, like this $200, because you know you can make it up on one of these other ones when you get in a better area. To where if you just sit, because you're waiting for that $2.50 a mile, and you sit all day, and then the second day you sit, and the third day you find a load for $3 a mile, and you're all happy, you didn't make nothing. Because you sat for 2 days, you lost 2 days of time, and that $3 a mile isn't going to make up what you needed to make in those 2 days. Nowhere close.
I agree.
It's not going to work. And the guys that know how to run a truck and know math, they're the ones that succeed in this business.
And look, there's a lot of talk right now about you got to negotiate real hard and this and that. Look, no one loves negotiating more than I do, but you also have to know, it's like Kenny Rogers, right? You got to know when to fold them, because right now the brokers think they have the upper hand. Now I say think because nobody ever has the upper hand. When I make a phone call, I'm always going to win. That's just how I think. It doesn't mean that it's actually reality. But look, sometimes you have to understand what market you're in. And like just saying, if you know the math and you know where you're at, look, I don't have if you want to ask for $1,000 more, look, knock yourself out. I'll probably do the same thing. I'll probably just ask for $1,001, right? But my point is don't sell yourself short. And if you don't ask, you're never going to get. And if you're in sales, you understand, or if you've ever been in it, it takes 5 times to win, right? It takes 5 times to close. So, look, you can't be afraid to ask, and just keep asking questions. The weather's bad. If you make a case, you can win those. You can win those arguments a lot if you have a good business reason to do it. So, or to ask for the money.
Me and Nadine talked about this. Look, back when I started, way back in the early 90s, I made just as much money as an owner-operator as you do today. The rates have went nowhere in this business. Nowhere in 30 years. Nowhere.
Well, the cost of a shower when we started was $3 to $5, right? Cat scale was $2. A re-wave was $1.
Right.
So if we look at the cost of showers are $16, so that's 4 times the cost that it was when you and I started, right? So driver wages haven't went up 4 times. So look, I don't feel bad when people say, well, Robert, you hit the broker pretty hard. Well, I mean, it's just business, and that's truly what it is. It's nothing personal. But if things are 4 times the cost, or
Rob,
come on.
Just like you were saying, we were talking the other day. Here's the thing. All the owner-operators can set the rate. It's not everybody thinks it's the broker and the shipper that sets the rate. It is absolutely not.
No.
The truck driver, the owner-operator, is the ones that can really set the rate if they know and they treat it like a business.
Yes.
Because it's like this. Well, capacity. Freights, there's not much freight, too much truck capacity. That's why the rates are low, and that's how we can do this. No, absolutely not. If you look at every other business in this country,
Right.
and Dean brought up the great analogy. You look at McDonald's, right?
Yep.
And you go to McDonald's, and let's say the Big Mac is $4.50. And let's say they're... Wow, he's got... And let's say the economy's bad, inflation is up. Does McDonald's lower the price of their hamburger to get the customer to buy it? No. So why should the owner-operator lower his rate to haul the goods? Should not. Doesn't matter what the economy's doing. Doesn't matter if there's too many trucks.
That's right. There's a McDonald's on every corner. And
That's
when we had
right.
this conversation, I was frustrated because I'm like, why? You know, we complain about the rate, so why are these guys taking it, right? And so I thought about it. You look at, there's McDonald's in every corner. So when people say to me, well, it's supply and demand, I'm not buying that argument because there's a lot of McDonald's out there, a lot of Burger King, and they're not lowering their hamburger prices or whatever to get us in the door.
Right.
They're not doing any of us a favor. So why in the heck are we hauling freight for $1.30, $1.40, 50 cents, whatever it is, right? In my opinion, right now, everything should be around $2. Well, supply and demand, no, that's crap. We set the standard, whether we want to admit it or not. We have to look in the mirror. The other thing too is, I heard this not too long ago, a few weeks ago. Well, I look at fuel prices every day and da-da-da. Listen, a restaurant owner does not make money on their steaks. They lose money on their steaks, right? Why do they lose money? Well, let me rephrase that. They spend the money, they overpay for their steaks, right? To some degree, because the food distributor has to get a good cut of meat, but they're willing to pay for it. That's just the cost of doing business, right? They're going to lose their money in the dry goods, your paper towels, your cups. That's where the food distributor makes their money. They don't make their money selling ketchup because every food distributor sells ketchup. So when I look at fuel price, it's just the cost of doing business. If I'm a restaurant, I can't open up a restaurant unless I have napkins and paper towels, right? Even though they know they're going to overpay, there's nothing they can do about it. There's nothing we can necessarily do about the fuel price. But we can do something about the rate.
Stuart says this, and I don't agree because you're looking at a totally different thing. He said, I disagree. Low supply of egg prices gone through the roof, supply and demand. This is a different supply and demand. You're talking about commodities. You're talking about eggs, or if there's a shortage of beef and things like that. Trucking is a business. It's a business.
But McDonald's buys eggs.
Yes, they do.
They're not lowering their prices.
That's right.
Yes, they have a lot of buying power because they buy probably
Even
by the truckload. I understand that, but they're still not lowering their prices.
Right. Even when the eggs are super low, McDonald's doesn't lower the price. They don't say, oh, well, Egg McMuffin today is $1 because the eggs and everything are cheap now. It's not.
Right.
They keep the same price no matter what. Just like trucking. Your business, it should be the same price no matter what.
Well, think about it. So I mentioned this to you earlier today. So, I had the bug guy come by the house, and I thought about it, so no matter what business you're in, and just about every, if you're a homeowner, somebody comes to your house, it's a minimum $100, right?
Right.
So, shouldn't our minimum be $100? I mean,
the minimum on any load, whether it's 1 mile or 100 miles, on the short stuff, it should be a minimum of $500. Minimum. To start the truck. It doesn't matter if the load goes across the street from one shipper over across the street to another warehouse. The minimum should be $500 because you have all the risk, and that's what drives me crazy in this business. Owner operators do not factor in the risk. The broker, here's the broker. The broker risk. He's got about a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10. This is the scale. 10 being highest. Broker has a risk of about a 1. He doesn't have a whole lot in the business. He just doesn't. The carrier or the owner operator has a 10. They have all the risk. They have it all. You got to have $1 million insurance policy. These guys, $75K, and you can get that for about $600 to $700 per year. That's all they got. That's it. To be a broker costs you about $600 to $700 a year. That's it. That's all that's required. That's it. No, if you own a truck, you got to have a truck. Let's say, if you look at, you bought a brand new one, $200K investment. Got a new trailer, $50K investment. You got $250,000. You got to have the $1 million insurance. Let's say that cost you $20,000 a year with your full coverage on your equipment. So you're paying $20,000 a year. He's paying $600 to $700 a year in insurance. So you're paying $20,000. And if you break down, you have breakdown cost, you got fuel, you got DOT, all kinds of stuff to get in your pocket. You got truck stops getting in your pocket. Who's he got in his pocket to get into it? Maybe a software program. That's it. Maybe that's $75 a month. That's all the costs they got to be a broker. If you take $50 a month for insurance and $75 a month for software, $125 a month, that's all you pay. And all these brokers are going to be on here going, no, that's not right. But it's right because I am a broker. So it's about $125 a month. That's it. That's all it costs.
Well, here's the other thing, Jeff. So, the brokers will use this. We haul a load, you get paid going in, but you don't get paid going out. Well, that just chafes my butt, right? Because that's terrible. It costs me the same. Just because I'm going into a so-called bad area doesn't mean anything to me. Because that McDonald's out there in the sticks, they're still getting the $20. But that's a small town America. That's a small town. How could they command $20 when I'm paying $20 in the city? Exactly. So why are we allowing them to dictate our business? Who's running our business?
Well, Rob, I disagree with you. I'm showing risk of getting started in a business. Now, when it comes to pay, we're all at risk on that. Because we pay lumper, the broker doesn't pay us back. They don't pay us back for detention. We have way more risk. If they say, there's a claim. Well, then the broker doesn't want to pay us because there's a claim. Well, no, you need to pay because the job was done. The claim is between you and the shipper, not you and the broker, unless you're a freight forwarder. Because the broker should have nothing to do with the freight because he doesn't own it. But a lot of brokers think they do, and they step in there, and they like to be the facilitator between the shipper and the carrier and do the claim. But the claim's all done by insurance companies. So, like my insurance company, if we have a cargo claim and I don't get paid, my insurance company will pay me for that run. I don't have to go against no bond. They will pay me. Just like a broker. If you go out and buy the good insurance, the cargo insurance, brokers can buy it. It's expensive. That's where this stuff comes in. You know, the good one will spend the money and buy the cargo insurance. And then they could just get their money through that to less the risk. But what I'm talking about is the upfront money risk to start the business is way more riskier for a trucking company than a brokerage. And you can't prove me wrong on that. Absolutely not. Because you got to look at how much money it takes to start each business. Is that correct, Dean?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You don't have to. Nowhere near is it $250,000 to start a brokerage. Nowhere near. You can start one for about your first year. You might have to pay $1,200 for the insurance and $300 or so to get it started. You got $1,500 invested.
Right. Even with the new government mandate, it would still be cheaper than a carrier. Because they said they want to compete. You know, you have to have the $75,000 cash, right? And you know, different. It'll be different if they pass that law, right? For brokers.
Right.
But it's still cheaper than a carrier.
Yes, of course. And the broker doesn't have the danger or risk of the millions of cars that are flying by you that, you know, want to hit you. So, but that's because the broker, if you're doing that, right, if the shipper says, okay, we want you to handle this, well, then these brokers out here, or these guys out there saying they're only getting like 6% or 7%, that's wrong. Because if you're doing that kind of responsibility, you're going to take a whole lot more than 6 or 7%. Right?
Right, so just look at the math of the load, right? I mean, add whatever you want to it, and if they're a small brokerage, what's 6% of that? How can you support a family on that? That doesn't even make any sense.
Right. You're gonna be 30 or 40%. I talked to when I went to the insurance meeting last October. There was about 30 people in there, brokers and shippers. Brokers and carriers. And I sit next to a lady. There was a broker. And I was talking to her. And I says, how much do you guys make? And she said a minimum of 25%. Minimum. That's our number. Minimum. We won't go below that. So they make more than that. But their minimum is 25% profit to their sell. Whether they're taking 50% or 40% or 70%, who knows? But she said her minimum is 25 and they don't go lower. And every broker could be different. That's just her number.
Right. The big box ones probably a lot less, you know, because it's all volume based. But
well, no,
small
see.
Ones, I mean, they got to make some money too.
But see, everybody brings up the big box. Well, look at them that are on the stock market, and you can see that, you know, it's 7%. That's not really 7%, folks. Read through the filing. You got to write off all the buildings they pay for, all their agents that they pay, and then it comes down to a profit of 7%. Learn how to read the stock market.
Jeff, I think there's a lot of stuff that you spoke about the risk, right? And I understand, look, that a carrier takes the risk, you know, financially, the insurance, you know, getting all that stuff that comes with the carrier. But if you was to go and say, hey, tomorrow, like trucking, and say, hey, I don't want to use another broker anymore because I'm fed up with them, you'd have to get a sales team in. You would have probably 6 months, you know, grooming your customers, generating them leads, and that's where a broker gets paid, right? It's you get these these dirtbags on the websites that are double brokering and stuff like that. Okay, I agree. There's a lot of that stuff going on. But if you was to have a legitimate sales team, the cost involved, I bet you wouldn't be much more profitable than what you are now by the time you pay these people, because you're not going to make money off them at first, because how much you have to invest in paying these people to make phone calls, groom them. I mean, and to find a good salesperson, it's not an easy job. It's a very unique type of person that are good salespeople. And then when you talk about brokers that don't pay the lumper fees and stuff like that, and I put in a comment a minute ago, that's not a broker issue and stuff like that. The detention labor, that's a regulatory issue. There's regulation in place that says
right, of course there is.
A carrier should not pay lumper fees. It's right there.
Right.
But then you've got companies that want to
there.
charge for fit checks.
It's
and
there,
stuff.
Stuart.
It's the enforcement.
But it's there,
It's the
Stuart. But
enforcement.
we
We
have
need
no
to enforce
enforcement in
it.
this country when it comes to that.
And it's stuff like that where, look, they put hours of service and all this crazy regulation. How about let's just enforce what we have, the rules and the regulations that we have, put regulation that maybe says that a broker has to give you, when you file for a detention, they have to give you an updated rate con in a certain time period. A 24-hour time period, instead of it taking a week and you have to keep chasing them. And
or
and
3
actually
weeks,
enforce
or
this
4
type of
weeks.
stuff. Yeah. And actually enforce it. And actually enforce these regulations. And I think a lot of these problems would disappear because it's just not enforced. There is stuff in place already, but they just don't enforce it. And then you get blacklisted because you try and enforce stuff, or try and harass them or whatever else, or file on bonds. And then you get blacklisted because you're just you have the rights to it. You have the rights to claim on a bond when someone doesn't pay, and then they'll blacklist you.
Well,
so
that's the thing,
like
though.
that,
If you find out they blacklist you, you can sue them and you'll own their brokerage.
the problem is trying to find out, right? I mean, look, here's a perfect example with Kenny, right? I called up on a load last week, and I was told we can't use it. I'm like, why can't you use it? Because another carrier had used the RMC number, okay, and was using it to move loads. They found out about it and stopped it before it happened. But because of the broker wasn't doing their due diligence and checking to make sure that was officially the carrier, they're now penalizing us. And I had Kenny and Elizabeth on the phone. I'm like, hey, we need to figure this out. We're getting penalized for the broker's poor performance. How does that make sense? They didn't do their job to check to make sure it was the carrier actually calling up. And now we're getting penalized. So we got it figured out. But I mean, why do we have to jump through so many hoops because they do a piss poor job? That's where I think a lot of the frustration comes from, right?
And that's where you have these companies that allow, and the government shouldn't allow this happen. There should not be a company out there that, we all know who it is, where brokers go on there and they subscribe to this place, and then they can sit there and put whatever they want about a carrier on there, and the carrier has no way to get it off there. They won't even talk to them.
Yeah. Yep.
It's one-sided.
Yep. I mean, it's bad. It's bad.
Yes, exactly. So, and that's the thing. We have all the risk, the high risk, right? Of course, brokers have risk. Depends how they run their business. But the carriers always have the most risk with the less reward.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, I agree with some parts of that, and some parts I agree with no, because it's different types of, we get paid on different things, right? You can be a guy that digs a ditch and you work physically, or you can be a sales guy and work mentally and get paid. You get paid for two different skills, right? And I think that's the difference, and recognizing that other skill that you have. And going back to the bad website where they can badmouth you, how about us as drivers, right? I mean, and carriers. We all know which brokers we really don't want to work with because they have a bad reputation, because they put the listing city is 500 miles away from where it's actually going from, right? I mean, but you know what I'm saying? We have the same thing. We just do it verbally, right? I mean,
right.
It's just another way we communicate. So look, there's pros and cons, right?
Hey,
everything.
This load goes to Atlanta. And it goes to Jacksonville. We all know who it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
We all know who those are.
But we try and stay away from it, and that's the last phone call that we make because we don't want to deal with the nuisance of having to frickin', siphon through it and get to the bottom of it, right? And look, I think there's frustrations on both sides, and I think we have to be real with ourselves. If we, as carriers, if we truly want to cut out the brokers, what's it really going to cost us to do that? To get the people in place. I mean, it's a full-time job. You have to get a team of people to keep the amount of trucks you have, on with you, to keep them busy. You would have to get a handful of guys pounding the phones all day long to just, to qualify customers and get them.
To CDN's thing, lumpers should be direct with warehouse or brokers through an app, take pictures, work done, POD is uploaded. It shouldn't even be that. The broker, if there's lumpers on the other end, these food warehouses, the shippers should already have paid for it. They shouldn't need to go through the broker or the carriers. You should just go there and get the freight unloaded and leave and turn the bills in.
I mean, how difficult is it for someone like Capstone to say to Coyote, we'll set up an account with you. When you hit a certain limit, we'll bill it, And look, that eliminates, because look, stuff does shift in movement, right? In transit, and there might have to be a couple of restacking fees here. And then that way, Capstone go to, hey, we've got this. This is your invoice for this. We had to restack this, blah, 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 blah. And we're putting it on your account. And they have a national account. No different to mega carriers having a national account with TA, It's no different, right?
It could be paid once a week.
Yeah, monthly,
right?
whatever,
or
right?
monthly.
However they want to do that, But why can't we do it? Why do we have to each time? And then they want to charge us for a check. It's $12 for a check, $12 for a piece of paper just to pay your damn bill. I mean, it's a scam. There's an element of scams here, right? Yeah.
Right, it's a scam because we all know the brokers that pulled that scam, right? Oh, it's $10 or $15 for the com check from us. Com checks don't cost $15, folks. They don't. If you have a ComData account or EFS account and you do a EFS check, it's $0. They don't charge you for that.
I also want to say, with some of these food distribution warehouse, it's now on an app, so they give you the code and you just punch it in the app. There's not even a piece of paper anymore.
Right.
You're
and
paying
to get
for the
code.
number.
The code is $0, Stuart. It doesn't cost nothing to get this code. ComData don't charge you for that. But they are. They're charging $15.
Yeah.
You know what they're charging you for? They're charging you for the broker to get on his computer and type it in there.
If that's too much, I have to get off. No. It was much.
And brokers have a hard job, because I know shippers aren't easy to work with. Receivers aren't easy to work with, especially if you go to CVS and you miss an appointment. That must be a nightmare. Same thing with Walmart and Sam's Club and all of them, right? You miss your appointment, you're bumming. So, they got a hard job too. There's not, no way around that. But we were just talking about startup cost, business to business. And, there's a lot of brokers that make more than truckers. They do. And that's the same thing, We have problems. Here's the problem that I don't like when it comes to some brokers. You get a broker that'll call you or email you 900 times a day about the load. But wait a minute. Aren't you using tracking? You're using 4 kites. So why are we having this conversation? All you got to do is get on your computer and see where they're at. Or I will send them a link, a tracking link. They click on that link anytime during the day and it shows exactly where that driver's at on the map. But I get calls all day long. Hey, are we good for delivery? Hey, where's the driver at? Hey, where's the driver at? Did you click on the link? You could have seen for yourself a lot faster than calling and waiting on hold to get a hold of the carrier. All you had to do is click on the link. And we all know some of these bigger brokers that have their apps and they still call you. It's like, why do you have the app then? Just look at the app. Shows you where they're at. I mean, you got it in the rate con. If you don't use tracking, it's $250 fine. Well, maybe we got to write in there, if you call me because you don't want to look at your own tracking, maybe it's $250 fine on this end. I don't know. It's just frustrating because it wastes my time. Answering all the phone calls and just keep saying stuff over and over. Well, they're right here. They're right here. Do you want me to send you a tracking link? Well, no, they're tracking. Why'd you call? Time is time. They could spend that time getting more customers, could they not? You know, call some more shippers, find some more freight. I mean, do you agree with that, CDN? If they're using tracking, then why do they need to call the carrier? See if CDN will answer on that. If they have their own tracking, why do they need to call the carrier 5 times a day? They keep asking or emailing constantly. I could show you emails. I had one guy today email me 7 times. Are we good for pickup? Are we good for pickup? Are we good for pickup? Yes, 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 yes. You're tracking, right? Then I sent him my tracking link. I said, the driver's 20 miles out. He's got 2 hours to get there. He's only 20 miles out. And then, you know, you'll get a check, right, from them, and it'll be a $250. It'll be $250 short because you didn't track. They say. Sent you a tracking link. Our guy tracked. That's the only thing that drives me crazy about that. You know, I don't mind brokers, but the ones that, once you have this technology, use their stuff and put in the rate con a penalty if you don't use it, but then spend all day contacting you about the load, where it is, what the driver's doing, you know. I'm like, it's your app. I sent you my link.
Yeah, here's a good way to handle that tracking, and I've done it. It's just, you know, if you're tracking a load and you're going, you know, let's say it doesn't matter how far you're going, but throughout the day, just take screenshots of the tracking where it says, you know, a check call, report, or whatever, and you can see all the pings, and just take screenshots, because I had this happen to me, and a broker tried to short me. I said, well, look, I took screenshots of all the pings from start to finish. I got my money.
Right. Or I like the one company, the one broker out there that sends you the rate con. Let's say you agree to $2,000. The rate con comes, it's $1,800.
Oh, right.
It's got minus 200 for tracking, right?
Yep.
So
every load.
There's $200 right off, and then you don't get a new rate con until after you deliver a load. And how many drivers forget to get the new rate con and just send that one in?
Many.
And then that broker keeps that $200 from every single one of those carriers that did not call them back and say, hey, I need the updated rate con because we tracked.
Right. Well, when people say, "Oh no, a broker won't do that," but how many times are we owed detention, and they say, "Are the in and out times on the bill?" Yep, I sent it to you. Well, I got to get it approved. But what is there to approve? I ran your tracking. I got the in and out times. So what is there to? What do we have to approve here? I don't understand. That's illogical. It makes no sense.
Well, Pip makes all kinds of money with TQL. You can make some good money with TQL. You got TQL, OD?
I do.
He does. See, I don't know what everybody has a lot of the guys will have a big thing about TQL. I don't mind TQL. They've always treated us good.
Yep.
Except if, you have a problem with a load, you might have some trouble. But other than that, because it's a big conglomerate, so you might have to go over the broker's helper's head to get to the next higher up to get things squared away. Yeah, Stuart, that's in any big corporation that has a lot of people. Because there's too many wheels moving, too many parts. Where you at, Dean?
About 15 minutes from the house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, well, I ended up probably going a long way, but it is what it is.
So anybody that wants to join Like Trucking, go to liketrucking.com, fill out application. Like I said, I just got a few more trailers today. I got called by the trailer place, so we picked up a couple more trailers. And we'll be looking to put those on the road within a week or two. And then we got 3 or 4 more in the pipeline coming. So if you want to make a change, make a switch, be your own boss, you get treated like a true business partner over here. Would you agree with that, Dean?
I would agree with that. Yeah, absolutely. You can learn a lot.
It's like having your own authority, but without the worry of doing all the legal paperwork.
Exactly.
Because you're going to get paid next day, just like if you were factoring. You're going to get paid next day. And, of course, since Dean had left, I have made a lot of changes to where, and there's not many companies out there this size do what we do. We pay next day. We have a longevity bonus. We have a safety bonus. And we have fleet insurance that we can offer at fleet discounts. And we have one of the best guitarists in the country as a safety manager. Right, Dean?
And dispatcher. You got a dispatcher.
Yeah, and dispatcher service. So the guys that come over here that don't like to make the phone calls, they do the click and go, but they want Snowlord to dispatch them. He'll call, negotiate, call you up, tell you what he's got. If you say get it, he'll get it. So we offer that service.
I mean, you can look at a dispatching service like an appointment setting service, right? So
Right.
your sales guys don't want to make calls, they'll book your appointments, and that's big money. That costs a lot of money. But look at in this market, when volume is the way it is, another set of eyes can be
come see us at Matt's. So here you go. We'll hand these out. This will tell you everything about it. Tells you all of the things that we offer. There you go. So you got fuel discounts, national tire discounts, fleet insurance discounts, company fuel card, no cost ELD, pay the next day after delivery, next business day that is. You negotiate your own freight, book your own freight, drive when you want, no weekly takeouts unless you get your fleet insurance or rent a trailer from us. There you go. I showed the our pamphlet, Dean. Did you see that?
Well, I didn't see it, but you sent it to me. I saw it, but yeah, no, it's
Yes, Mac the trucker. Fuel and tire discount. It's right there.
And I know firsthand about those tire discounts because I used them for the trailer back in September. It's a hefty discount. It's well worth it.
So anyway, that's it. We're going to be done for tonight. And, you know, tomorrow I think I'll fire up the Veterans Trading Group, VTG, on YouTube. Veterans Trading Group on YouTube. We'll be doing some trading tomorrow. I'll let you see my screen. I'll just leave it up there. If I don't talk, doesn't matter. It'll just be the trading screen. And I'll leave it up there from, let's say, 9:30 until 11:30. And then we'll just do a 2-hour feed. So we'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up on the way out, will you? Or should we keep going, Dean?
It's your deal, man. I'm almost home, and I think we pissed enough people off tonight. I don't know.
CDN. Oh, Rob will be calling me.
Now, Rob, there's probably others that
He'll do a video.
don't like it.
Hey, man. CDN, he's a hard-working freight broker. That guy works hard.
Oh, hey, CDN, I've spoken to him on the phone. He's helped me out a couple times, give me some ideas. He's a smart guy. Been in the industry a long time.
Would you say if all the brokers were like CDN, it'd be a better place? It'd be easy.
Well, so if all the brokers are like CDN, be a lot of happy carriers, that's for sure.
That's right.
Because let me tell you something, he is very organized, and he's meticulous. I mean, he's like, he probably has a little OCD going on, but if he doesn't know the answer, he'll find out, and he'll email, or he'll call you, or he'll do both. But he's very thorough, and he knows his stuff. I mean, he's been around a long time, 30 years, I think he told me, or longer. I don't want to shortchange him here.
Right.
Yeah, but he's very organized. Hey, look at how many brokers. I guarantee you, he's in the top 1% as far as organization. I mean, that guy, he's got, in business they say, have the finger on the pulse of your business at all times. Let me tell you something. He's got his hand, his arm, everything. This guy, he is squared away. There's no doubt about it.
He is.
Oh, he's squared away, and he knows his stuff.
He does know his stuff.
And even as a carrier, it's good to, I don't think you can be organized enough. I mean, there's always something to do, that's the one thing.
I've thrown all the banners underneath. There you go. You want any discounts? They're all in the description. we have a lot of discount codes out there for people.
Hey, look, now's a good time. I mean, look, people are looking to make the jump. I mean, I went over to you 3 weeks before the pandemic and made it through it. But I was a deer in headlights. I had no clue what the heck I was doing. None.
Now look at you.
I don't know. I still know what I'm doing. All right. I just we're just putting on a good show.
Do you know how to install an inverter now?
I wear a white shirt.
Right. Right.
Oh man. No.
Yeah. So.
Well, I know how to back into a pole barn.
Yeah, he knows how to hit. He knows how to bend his stacks on a W9. Look, brand new W9.
Oh man, I'll never forget.
Dean shows up. I said, look, you got to drop your airbags because, until I build the new facility, this door isn't high enough unless you dump your airbags. Then you can make it underneath there.
I did.
So he did. But Kenworth didn't measure the stacks right on a W9.
Those things were tall, man.
They were tall. So he's backing up. And he's not looking at the clearance. I says, watch the clearance. He's not looking at that.
I was looking, but honestly, I mean, man, I had only been in that truck 2 days. I'm trying to get used to the mirrors, and I just hear, stop!
I yell, stop. Dean, those stacks hit the top of that pole barn door, and they bent the stacks forward. It kind of looked like the antennas back in the day, right?
Oh, it did, yeah.
And he gets out. Brand new truck. He says, oh my. And what'd I say, Dean?
You got a wrench? Yeah, I got a wrench.
I said, don't worry about it. I'll fix it.
Yeah.
So I got my impact gun. Took his stacks off, put them back on. Looked just like they came from the factory.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. 10 minutes. Had him fixed in 10 minutes. That was pretty funny, though.
It was fun. I'll tell you, I told you, I've said this to you many times that, that was a scary time, And so when people want to make the jump and go buy a truck, I've been driving a long time, and I tell you what, I was scared to death. And I thought, and I've said this to you several times, like, God, did I make the biggest mistake in my life, but I wouldn't change it forever. So those that are out there that are nervous, or look, I was beyond nervous. I was a nervous wreck, but yeah, I mean, it can be done, and I don't know. We've also said this many times. Look, there's a lot of people out there that will say it can't be done. Owner operator this, again, if you're willing to do the drill and put in the time and make the sacrifice, anybody can do it.
Right.
Really, anybody. I mean, sure, the numbers have to work, right, for you and your family. But if you get the truck and you're committed, you can't just be committed today. And that's what frustrates me. Too many people think about today. We got to think about tomorrow, next week, but 6 months from now. You got to make good business decisions and just good decisions in general, right? And we're all going to screw up. I mean, I still make bonehead decisions now, but it happens. So you just got to move on. You got to be a quarterback, right? You got a bad play, you move on. So, that's the way it works.
2 years.
Well,
Diesel 529. 2 years.
what's that?
Had a question of how much experience do you need?
Oh,
2 years. You got 2 years?
get to run on your own.
And the good thing is, if an owner-operator knows how to put an ELD in, we can ship everything to him. If he needs a license plate, we can get a license plate. We can send it all in a box, just like Landstar does. And you can put it all in there at your own house. Go to where the nearest trailer is and start working. 9 months. Well, when you get 24 months, come on over. All right, Dean, we're out of here.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, tomorrow we'll turn on Veterans Trading Group. You want to join in? Join in. Watch live trading tomorrow. You'll see the screen and you'll see the trades when they're made. Win or lose, we show it. All right. See y'all later.